How are
Good
you?
to see you. Good, good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show very fast.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite. So,
So I thought to tell about your work to my audience. So can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
sure. Hi everyone. I'm Alex Saroyan. I'm CEO and co-founder of Netris. Uh, shall I tell what Netris is? What we
Yeah.
do?
Can you please elaborate it?
Sure. So Netris is a software company based in Silicon Valley. Um, We are specialized in networking. I'm coming from network engineering background, and the idea of Netris is to bring cloud-like, easy network operations experience to every network out there. Why is this important? Because coming from network engineering background, uh, the network engineering in data center at the edge, like beyond public cloud, was very much complex. Network engineers were doing a lot of operations manually. So basically, the workflow between DevOps engineers and network engineers was happening through Jira tickets or ServiceNow tickets. So basically, anytime DevOps engineers need to create a new virtual infrastructure, a new set of servers, a new isolated environment, a new firewall rule, a new load balancing rule, every request would go through a network engineering team. So basically, that's a lot of time. In public cloud, it's much different, right? Public cloud provides web console and APIs to DevOps engineers. So DevOps engineers can self-service. They make the request through web console or API, and the algorithm that works under the hood of the cloud implements the request immediately. So in network engineering implementation in public cloud is immediate and guaranteed. Beyond the cloud, it's not immediate because it's done by people. It takes cycles of network engineers' time. So it takes days, sometimes weeks, depending on complexity of the request. And it also, it's prone to human error because these networks are complex. What if network engineers make a small misconfiguration, which happens? So Netris's job, our software's job, is to enable that cloud-like user experience for network operations to any infrastructure out there. So basically, modern network engineers, together with DevOps engineers, can build their own private cloud infrastructures, but using their own hardware in a data center or at the edge.
So before talking more about your work and the service that you're providing, I just want to tell about my sponsor. Uh, it's Start Adam. Sales and customer facing teams often switch between various communication tools, causing time management and visibility issues that slow down deal velocity. The solution is Start Adam. With Start Adam, your team can centralize all communications within your chat tool, ensuring compliance, no more switching, waiting, or fragmented chats. Sales teams reach customers where they are building trust and relationships through constant communication. Plus, Start Adam auto summarizes conversations in your CRM, eliminating data entry and speeding up deals. Join Start Adam today and start building customer relationships with centralized and compliance chat. So, thank you again for being on my show.
Yay! Thanks to the sponsors for making this show possible for the audience.
That's great. So, with this software, you want to solve technological problems and save the time and the energy of teams.
Right. Now, when we live in the age of cloud and AI, and amount of infrastructure is growing faster than amount of engineers. Uh, so modern organizations, the they they were either born in public cloud and they just got used to the experience of consuming private cloud, so their skills and their tools are built around cloud native principles, or even if they were not born in the cloud, they are already familiar with the cloud native technologies, because most of the new generations of engineers are learning cloud tools and methodologies by default. So basically, every organization out there, uh, they run their applications either in public cloud or off the cloud, but they want to, or both, or in both environments, right? Hybrid, which is quite common. But every organization wants to be able to apply the same operational principles and tools and skills in the cloud and off the cloud. So basically, uh, in our vision, there is no cloud and non-cloud. There is public cloud and private cloud. Cloud is not a place where you host your applications. Cloud is collection of methods and principles how you consume infrastructure. And even when you're building infrastructure in a physical data center, even if you need to buy your own hardware, your hardware still can be automated and operated using cloud-like abstractions for your network, which we do, and for your compute and storage that other products do. So collectively, using Netris and some other products together, our customers are building their own cloud. To give some examples of customers, so our customers are either SaaS companies. So for them, this is just building their kind of their own private cloud for running their product. Some customers are infrastructure providers. So basically, they are public cloud providers, like smaller versions of AWS, providing various vertical public cloud services. Some examples are public cloud for online game hosting, public cloud for Web3 applications, public cloud for blockchain use cases, public cloud for AI. More and more vertical cloud providers are now showing up, and when AWS and GCP were building their cloud offering, they had to build every piece of technology from ground up, right? They had to go really low level and develop every network automation, every network abstraction. But for modern cloud providers, for new and coming cloud providers, they don't need to do that. Netris provides the network abstraction, and various products provide compute, container, and storage abstractions. There are open source versions, there are commercial products, there's many options to choose. So new and coming cloud provider or SaaS company that wants to run their own private cloud, they don't need to build everything ground up. They can buy modern cloud abstraction software products and build their own cloud.
So what scale companies will benefit from this?
Sorry, say it again.
Mid-scale or startups or large-scale companies, which scale will be getting benefit from this?
That's a great question. So, for look, public cloud like AWS, GCP, and Azure, these are actually amazing. And for many companies, public cloud like AWS, GCP, and Azure is great place to host their applications. Uh, it it very much depends on kind of application, whether it is more economically viable to run applications in public cloud or in private cloud. Also, for smaller companies, probably it's the best to start with the public cloud and pay, hourly, weekly, monthly during their growing phase. When their cloud bills gets bigger, and when their cloud usage becomes more predictable, it makes sense for them to start considering to move some of the workloads into physical data center or use bare metal cloud providers like Equinix Metal or Phoenix NAP, some of those. So just based on our experience, this is where we see that the most cost efficiencies are coming from. There are, of course, exceptions, right? We worked with some startups whose infrastructure was pretty large, even on day one. This is specifically because these startups they were in business that would require processing very large amounts of data, or companies whose business was requiring processing large, AI computations, and they had to keep this in-house. So for this kind of situations, it makes sense to start in a data center upfront. So basically, if your data center deployment will be like more than 40 servers, you probably are ready to start in the data center, because equivalent of 40 servers in a public cloud, that would be very costly. Assuming your data center is designed in a modern way, you're using like lots of automation tools, lots of abstractions that make your data center operations highly optimized.
So what will be the cost for any business to use this?
So for building private cloud, there are multiple cost components. Netris is one component. We just charge for using our software, and we charge based on number of nodes number of network nodes that's under Netris's management. So basically our pricing model is quite flexible. It grows when you scales, and typically for most customers that never been an issue. But it's important to keep in mind that when you build your private cloud with a data center or bare metal cloud provider, there are multiple cost components. So you either need to buy hardware, so you're buying servers and network switches, or you're leasing them. When you buy, it's kind of one upfront cost, but you're not paying monthly. It's like renting a car versus it's like leasing a car where you pay to car provider forever, or like financing your car and paying off your car debt, and then you own the car, right? There's management cost associated with that, so you may need more engineers to manage the infrastructure, configure operating systems, configure networks and stuff. But when you're using Netris, you don't need to think as much about network configuration. You don't need to think about how do I configure my switches. You don't need to think how do I configure my routers. Netris algorithms do this automatically for you, and what you pay for Netris is very small amount compared to like doing the same thing manually. And network engineers actually love using Netris because think from this perspective, amount of networks, amount of infrastructure is growing faster than number of people becoming network engineers. So if we continue living with the traditional model, that's not going to be sustainable. With Netris, network engineers are getting some sort of superhero tool that turns network engineer into superhero. Now, network engineer, let's say the network engineer previously was able to manage X amount of switches and routers and stuff. Now with Netris, the same engineer can manage maybe 100X of infrastructure because level of abstraction shifts from managing box to managing a network collectively through abstraction. And DevOps engineers love that model because DevOps engineers do not need to go to network engineers with Jira tickets. Instead, they go directly to Netris console, and then they fulfill the requirements immediately through the console. So we call this cloud experience. In public cloud, you get that experience. In dedicated private cloud that you build for your own, you get this experience. So this is cloud experience. Now, cost-wise, cost comes from products you use, right? Software components that you use, like your network software, your compute and storage software, hardware, and you typically pay for leasing the space and for internet connectivity. Same applies to public cloud. If you look your AWS bill, it's like a telephone bill, right? You have this million lines and dollar values. Like, what is this for? So in data center, you basically have less lines. Your data center bill can be higher than your cloud bill or can be lower than your cloud bill. This is not one size fits all solutions. For some businesses, it is more economical to run in public cloud and they really belong in the cloud, in the public cloud. For other businesses, it's more economical to run in a physical data center or at the edge. Especially when you're dealing with large amounts of data, when you need to store petabytes of data, you should go to data center. If you have a lot of egress traffic, if like your continuous upstream egress traffic is like 10 gigs per second, 50 gigs per second in peak hour, your infrastructure cost in your own private cloud will be way lower. Like we have seen customers improving their infrastructure costs by up to 90% by moving from cloud to physical data center.
So what is your previous experience that made you to start this service, and what are those thoughts that made you to solve this problem?
That's a great question. So before launching Netris, so right after high school and 20 years before launching Netris, I've been in network engineering. So I was network engineer myself. Then I was managing teams of network engineers, and we were building, traditional data centers for infrastructure operators. You may recall Lycos, the Google search before Google. So this was one of the large scale data centers that I was part of the team. And back then we were were dealing with traditional technologies, so basically configuring switches, configuring routers individually, and we were using lots of homegrown automation. Like back then, we have very, very advanced automation tool, and we had teams working on that automation. But that kind of automation, homegrown automation, is not even remotely close to kind of abstracted level of experience that the typical public cloud provides. So basically, even with that, with the lots of automation that we had back in the day, DevOps engineers, they still would talk to network engineers through Jira tickets. You know what I mean? That was helping, the automation was helping us to cope with the scale, but not to cope with the agility that modern DevOps engineers and product managers demand. And cloud sort of demonstrated, but this is possible. AWS said, hey guys, this is possible. This infrastructure thing is gonna be super, super fast, super, super agile. And so this was the base for me to like think, oh my gosh, if AWS was able to build this kind of technology for their own means, it is possible. And I was like, I wish every organization in the world, every network engineer in the world can have access to such a product, such a software that network engineer can install on their own data center and turn their data center into a cloud. So this way, network engineers would be happy, DevOps engineers would be happy, and overall, the business will benefit because their operational efficiency will skyrocket. So this was the idea before Netris. I couldn't find a product like that for me to use, and I was like, okay, we'll build it.
So I'm relating with my thing. My brother is a network engineer and I'm the DevOps engineer.
That's awesome. What a connection.
So, at last, what do you say to my global audience? How this Netris is going to be helpful for their businesses, and how it is going to be efficient, and what they are going to get from using this tool?
So, um, so every infrastructure every infrastructure out there is going to transition into a cloud. Cloud not necessarily meaning AWS or GCP, but cloud meaning in terms of how you consume it. There will be cloud, uh, public cloud owned by large organizations, and there will be cloud running in data center, running at the edge, running anywhere. Networks, every infrastructure spine is the network, right? Network is like heart of every infrastructure. Um, so networks are only going to grow in number and skyrocket in number. Look at AI. How much of a network AI requires? Data is growing faster than ever. So storage is growing, requiring more and more network. Uh, how Netris will affect everyone's lives in positive ways that we are making networks easy and accessible for everyone. So we will be entering also public cloud space because there's also a challenge of connecting public cloud world with data center world. So we are already entering the public cloud world, and our goal is to connect multiple clouds and connect cloud with the non-cloud networks and turn the entire, every network part of the world into easy and consumable network. To turn network engineers into heroes, DevOps engineers into heroes and help every business succeed faster and better.
It's a great idea. So at last, what is your observation about my work? As a person who is into networking, I'm doing networking.
I think I think you're doing great job. I saw you're interviewing lots of people coming from diverse background, tech related. I think this is awesome. Please keep doing this. I think world needs what you're doing.
So, like I said, I did masters in software engineering and bachelors in computer science and engineering. Right now, I'm doing some DevOps engineering projects and software development for a UK company. So, talking with experts like you who are already in the industry from long time and trying to understand and trying to solve the technology problems for different businesses, how this experience is going to helpful for me in coming days in my IT career, communication with all the global experts.
That's a good question. So I think speaking uh, with diverse set of leaders is provides you some sort of unique knowledge. I think it's a privilege to be able to sort of collect all that data into your brain. Like think ChatGPT. Why ChatGPT is so smart? Because it had the privilege to learn all the data from the internet that humanity has created over hundreds of years, right? It's something like that. You're learning lots of data, just very specific and very sort of high quality data.
So, can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, and also can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So, can you spell your website to my podcast listeners?
Yeah, it's a netris.io, so it's netris.io. Netris.
I hope it reaches to many people and solves a lot of business problems.
Likewise. Thank you so much. I appreciate I
Thanks,
appreciate
Alex,
it.
again for your time.
Thanks for having me, Sai. Have a good one, and I wish good luck to you and to your show.
Thank you, sir, again. Bye.
Bye.
Start Adam. Sales and customer facing teams often switch between various communication tools, causing time management and visibility issues that slow down deal velocity. The solution is Start Adam. With Start Adam, your team can centralize all communications within your chat tool, ensuring compliance, no more switching, waiting, or fragmented chats. Sales teams reach customers where they are building trust and relationships through constant communication. Plus, Start Adam auto summarizes conversations in your CRM, eliminating data entry and speeding up deals. Join Start Adam today and start building customer relationships with centralized and compliance chat.